Hello, and welcome to Hired, the show where I, Caitlin, an engineer looking to get a new job in space systems, try to use my self-defined theory to start a career in a new place that I'd love to work. I have 3 months worth of expenses saved up, but 12 weeks isn't much. Time is short and there's a lot of work to do, so here's how I try to get hired. Welcome to week 5 and 6 combined. This is the first episode after a week-long hiatus. I've titled this one, Responding to Rejection. Here's why. I've heard absolutely nothing from Aerojet Rocketdyne or Planetary Resources. It's possible that they are not interviewing yet, but it's been nearly a month since I put in an application. The big rejection for this week was Blue Origin. I do not currently fit their needs, so Blue Origin is unfortunately no longer in the running. In my foray into freelance writing, I also applied for 5 jobs. I did get interviewed for one, which was a success. However, I did not get hired for any of them. So now, how to respond? You'll see what I've done in the next few slides. For updating online materials, my plans for the last 2 weeks was maintaining my online materials and also to continue defining what I want to do. The idea of freelancing and entrepreneurship really opened my eyes to a whole new world. While exciting, it's a bit overwhelming and I haven't quite found my place in it yet, but I've been thinking on it and I definitely have more to explore. To continue exploring these opportunities, I continued working on this video. I also took an additional step and created a professional Twitter account. It's been going pretty well. I am following a bunch of different aerospace companies and I have been getting tips for writing, freelancing, and entrepreneurship delivered to me via my Twitter feed. I think I'm doing something right because Aerospace Headhunter started following me on the first week. Some of my friends have also found me, but I'm trying to keep this professional. I only tweet about writing and aerospace topics, so my friends are just hearing about writing and aerospace topics. You'll notice that I selected writer-engineer as my title. It's still a little ambiguous, I guess. I'm not willing to commit to being one or the other yet. I like being both, which is why I'm continuing to work on this aerospace engineering tech blog, which I should have more info about next week. My goal right now is to explore every avenue so I can see what fits me best. Also, I figure the more I put out there, the more likely that among all the rejections, I may get an acceptance. So, networking is the category where I'm most focused on responding to rejections. I did get an email response from Blue Origin and even my mentor, and unfortunately, neither were quite what I was looking for. This is a copy of my response to Blue Origin, thanking them for taking the time to review my resume. It's really hard to write thank yous for rejection, but I promise that it's a good thing to do. One reason is that not everyone writes thank yous, so it does set you apart if another position becomes open. But my real reason is that I truly am grateful. It's so nice to get closure. Writing a thank you is actually a pretty good way to accept rejections like this. I even wrote one to my interviewer on Elance. I also contacted my mentor at college for guidance on being a science writer. She was very thoughtful, articulate, and offered me many options for reaching that goal. However, she also cautioned me on starting out prematurely. This is definitely not something that I wanted to hear, and my response to this was not great. So I did not respond to her at all. This might not be the best way to handle this, so now that I've accepted that she's probably right, but also willing to help, I think I can craft a more grateful response this week. Sometimes it's good to take a break and process rejections for a while before responding. For me, it was a lot easier to write the thank yous to Blue Origin and my Elance interviewer after taking a few days to accept what was going on. Okay, let's take a break with something fun. I'm bolstering my skills in networking by attending awesome aerospace events like Hellfire 18. I got some great pictures for this video and my new blog, which I'm hoping to launch soon. Even better, I met some interesting people and heard great stories about model rocketry. It's inspired me to repair my rocket that was damaged in my move and get flying again. So on to improving my skills. Even though I have been vacationing, I have made an effort to improve my skills. I did plan on reading many aerospace articles over the last 2 weeks. There are no check marks because I started all these tasks, but I didn't really complete them. I found articles, but I skimmed them, I read a few pages of my book, but not a whole lot. I also got article ideas for my blog, but I haven't actually created the blog yet because I want to do it on WordPress, and I'm not quite sure how it works yet, so I'm learning how to do that this week. So I didn't finish these tasks, but I made progress, and I developed my skills in other ways. For example, I repaired my suitcase. The handle hadn't been working, as in I couldn't lock it into place and roll it. So I looked at the mechanism in the bag and decided all the important stuff was in the handle. I took the handle apart. Sure enough, you can see in the picture on the right, a plastic piece had actually snapped. It definitely couldn't lock into place with that. So I have some modeling glue left over from my model rocketry. I glued it back together, and I took that suitcase on my vacation. It works like a charm right now. I also worked on some other skills. One element of science writing is covering aerospace events, so I made an effort to tweet about both Hellfire and Seafair. I even took it a step further with Seafair, posting information about the air show and pictures. I've also been reading The 4-Hour Workweek in hopes of figuring out how to make a decent income while still pursuing all that I want to do. I've been planning for 2 weeks, but next week I'm hoping to actually launch a product. Maybe I can even turn my 3 months into much more. Finally, I ran 15 miles for the first time. It may not be a skill I can list on my resume, but it's really built my perseverance and grit. So, here are my week 7 plans. My response to rejection. Get lots and lots more of it. Every job I apply for is most likely a rejection at this point. However, the more work that I do and the more times that I try, the more likely it will be that eventually I will get an acceptance. Rejection hurts, but it's not worth giving up on a dream just to avoid it. Thanks for joining me for this long 2-week episode of Hired, and I will post week 7 next Monday.